I gave my parents $50,000 so they could enjoy their retirement, but my dad smiled and said, "A real son would give more." And I took it back. Now they are in a difficult situation and are begging me to give them back. I have always believed that I should take care of my parents. They worked hard all their lives, and I felt it was my duty to make their old age as comfortable as possible. So when I managed to save up $50,000, I didn't hesitate to go to them and give them the money. I told them that I wanted them to enjoy life, relax, and not worry about finances. My father took the envelope, looked inside, and smiled, but not in the way I expected. He looked at me and said, "A real son would have given more." For a moment I thought I hadn't heard him. Maybe he was joking. But there was no laughter or gratitude, just a cold, smug expression on his face. My mom didn't say anything. She just nodded as if in agreement. I stood there stunned. They knew I wasn't rich. They knew I had a wife and 2 children to take care of. And yet, instead of appreciating the sacrifice I had made, they dismissed it as a trifle. Something inside me clicked. I took the envelope back, turned around, and walked out the door without another word. When I got home, I told my wife everything. She looked at me for a moment and then shook her head. "They've always been like that," she said. "Always taking and never appreciating. I don't know why you keep trying." I wanted to defend them, to say that they hadn't always been like that, but the truth was that she was right. Growing up, I saw this picture over and over again. They always expected more from me, they were never satisfied, they were always comparing me to others, especially my younger brother Eric, who they treated like a prince, while I had to prove myself. My wife told me, "You have to stop. Break away from them. It will be better for you." I didn't answer, but deep down I knew she was right. That night I made a decision. I would no longer bend over backwards for people who didn't care about me. Days turned into weeks and I didn't hear from them. At first it seemed strange, but then I felt free. I focused on my family, spent more time with my children, and for the first time in many years, I felt like I wasn't carrying the burden of their expectations. Then, exactly 1 month later, my phone rang. It was my father. I hesitated before answering. He didn't ask how I was doing. He didn't ask about my wife, my children, or even how I was doing. His first words were, "I thought maybe I was too harsh back then. We need this money." I didn't say anything. I just hung up the phone. After I hung up, I looked at my phone for a long time. No further calls. No messages. Nothing. Just silence. It should have been the end, but it wasn't. The next evening, I was playing with the kids in the living room when I saw something moving outside. I turned my head to the window and saw it. My father's car. A bad feeling settled in my stomach. I sighed and stood up just as the doorbell rang. My wife looked at me, already knowing who it was. "Do you want me to take care of it?" she asked. I shook my head. "I'll get it." I opened the door and there they were. My father, who was standing with his arms crossed, looking annoyed, and my mother, who was looking at me with a look that was half disgusted, half expectant. Before I could say anything, my father walked inside as if he owned the place. My mother followed him. "We need to talk," he said. "About money." I clenched my jaw. "No. There's nothing to talk about." My mom scoffed. "Are you serious? After everything we've done for you, you're just going to turn your back on us?" I almost laughed at the absurdity. "All you've done for me? You mean raising me? That was your job as parents. I don't owe you my entire life savings because you did the minimum necessary." My father shook his head as if I were unreasonable. "You are ungrateful. After all we sacrificed for you." My wife entered the room before I could answer. She crossed her arms and looked directly at my parents. "How can you come here and ask for this kind of money? You didn't even ask how we were doing. You didn't even say hello to your grandchildren." My mother's face twisted, and then she said something I will never forgive her for. "Shut up. This is a matter between the son and his parents, not his gold-digging wife." The room fell silent. My wife looked at me and I saw pain in her eyes. Something inside me broke. I didn't even think about it. I turned to my mother and said, "Get out of here." She blinked as if she couldn't believe I was talking to her like that. My father's expression darkened. "I beg your pardon?" "You heard me," I replied. "Both of you. Get out of my house." My mother scoffed. "You're really kicking us out? Your own parents." I felt my hands clench into fists. "You didn't come here to see me, to see my children, but to extort money. Again. And then you insult my wife in my own home? Get out. Get out." My father took a step forward as if to intimidate me, but I didn't budge. "I'd had enough. Do you think you can talk to us like that and get away with it?" he said. After all we've done for you, we raised you, put a roof over your head, and this is how you repay us? I laughed bitterly. And I tried to repay you. I gave you $50,000 and you said it wasn't enough. So I took it back. And now you're crawling back because you need it? It's not my problem anymore. My mother's face twisted with anger. You are a disgrace. I should have known that your wife would turn you against us. My wife gave a short laugh. He didn't need me to turn him against you. You did it yourself. For a second they were stunned. My father looked at me as if he still expected me to cave in, to apologize, to give the money back. But I didn't. Last chance, I said. Get out or I'll call the police. Then they finally realized I wasn't bluffing. My mom muttered something under her breath. My father shook his head in disgust, but they left. I closed the door behind them without saying another word. My wife touched my arm. Are you okay? I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Yes. Actually, I think so. But something told me it wasn't over. I thought that was the last I would hear from them. But I was wrong. A few days later, I got a call from my younger brother, Eric. I thought about ignoring him, but my curiosity got the better of me. As soon as I picked up the phone, he got straight to the point. What the hell is wrong with you? He asked. I sighed. Let me guess. Mom and Dad ran to you, played the victim, and now you're here to make me feel guilty? They're our parents, he snapped. They're struggling. You have money, why not just help them? I felt myself bursting out laughing, but not from humor. You mean the same parents who never expected you to help them? The ones who gave you everything and I had to work like a dog? Where's your contribution, Eric? You have money too. Silence. I thought so, I said. They don't ask you because they know you won't give them a dime. And me? They've always seen me as someone they can suck the life out of. Eric sighed. Listen, they're in a tough spot. They're behind on their mortgage payments. If they lose their house, where will they go? It's not my problem, I said. They've made it clear that they see me as just a bank account. I've had enough. Eric muttered something under his breath, then said, You're heartless, and hung up. I put the phone down and exhaled. Maybe I was heartless. Maybe I should have felt guilty. But I felt only relief. Until the next morning when I saw my parents sitting in their car, parked in front of my house. I stood at the window looking at their car. They didn't even try to hide. My father was sitting in the driver's seat with his arms crossed, and my mother was talking on the phone. I had no idea how long they had been sitting there, but something about the scene made my skin crawl with goosebumps. My wife came up behind me. You see this, right? Yes, I answered. What do they think is going to happen? That you're just going to come out and hand them a check? I shook my head. I have no idea. But I don't play their games. I ignored them. Hours passed. I took the kids to the park, ran errands, lived my life. Every time I came back, their car was still there. Just sitting there. Waiting. In the evening, my patience broke down. I went outside and went to their car. My father rolled down the window, looking at me as if I was the one who was stupid. What do you want? I asked. You know what we want, my mom answered. I exhaled slowly. Let me explain. I will not give you money. I'm not responsible for your bad financial decisions. I'm not your personal bank. You need to leave. Now. My father smiled. And if we don't leave? I pulled out my phone. Then I'll call the cops and tell them you're harassing my family. I had never seen my father's expression change so quickly. He clenched his jaw, started the car, and without another word, they drove off. I watched them disappear into the street. I should have been relieved. But deep down, I knew they weren't done yet. I hoped it would be over, but my parents had one more trick up their sleeve. A week later, I received a call from an unknown number. Normally, I wouldn't have answered, but something told me to pick up the phone. As soon as I did, I heard my mom's voice, only this time she sounded panicked. Please, she said, we have nowhere to go. The bank has taken the house. We are homeless. I didn't say anything. I just let her talk. She went on about how they had nowhere to sleep, that my father's health was deteriorating, that they would end up on the street if I didn't help them. I could hear it in her voice. She expected me to give up. She expected me to finally break down and give them money. But I didn't. I'm sorry you're in this situation, I said, but I warned you. It's not my problem. Are you really going to let your own parents suffer? She snapped. I gave you $50,000, I reminded her. You threw it in my face. You could have paid your debts, but instead you chose greed. This is the result of your own choice. There was silence on the other end of the line. Then her voice turned cold. You will regret this. I hung up the phone. That was a few months ago. I don't know where they are now. Maybe they found a way out of their mess. Or maybe not. But for the first time in my life I feel free. And I have no regrets.